They molded you to fade away. They misguided you, my friend, teaching you to wear a smile even as your heart bled in silence. From early on, they coached you to mask your pain with a grin, hiding the wounds deep within your soul. They instructed you to remain gentle, engaged, and ever-present, even when your spirit cried out for a moment of solace. They urged you to stay kind and available, ignoring the quiet pleas of your heart begging for rest. They demanded you constantly clarify your feelings, defend your emotions, and shrink yourself to soothe others, even if it robbed you of your calm. They pushed you to justify every thought, diminish your presence, and bend to make everyone else comfortable, no matter the toll on your peace. But who convinced you that your tranquility wasn't sacred? Who persuaded you that your worth hinged on being endlessly agreeable, always accessible, and perpetually pleasant? It's time you embrace the truth. Your peace is a treasure that cannot be compromised. Your inner calm is a priceless gift, not something to be traded for others' approval. Your energy isn't a free resource to be given away, and your presence is a privilege, not an obligation. Your time and spirit are valuable, not a public well for others to draw from at will. Today, everything transforms. You cease pleading for others to understand you, stop over-explaining your choices, and halt giving more than you can spare. You step into your boldest, most resilient self, the version of you that's serene, quiet, and fiercely focused. This is the you they can't touch, not because you're unkind, but because you've chosen to put yourself first. Let them wonder where you've gone. Let them notice the silence they once disregarded. Allow your absence to resonate more powerfully than your presence ever could. When you become untouchable, you become unbreakable. By stepping back, you reclaim your strength, building a fortress around your spirit that no one can breach. Chapter 2. They conditioned you to diminish. From the very beginning, they shaped you to be fragile, wiring you like a device to follow orders without question. They programmed you to obey, to suppress your thoughts and feelings, and to comply without hesitation. They taught you to smile when you wanted to weep, to nod when your soul urged you to resist, and to make yourself small so others could feel grand. They told you to hide your pain behind a grin, agree despite your instincts, and shrink to lift others up. They cloaked your submission in terms like courtesy, humility, and respect, but let's be honest, it was never about your well-being. They labeled it politeness, but it was a mechanism to keep you under their influence. They trained you to reply to every message, respond to every slight, and be there for people who wouldn't lift a finger for you. They expected you to answer every call, address every jab, and show up for those who never reciprocate. When you complied, they praised you, not for your resilience, but for your predictability, because it made you easy to control. They applauded your compliance, not your strength, as it allowed them to steer you effortlessly. You became like a marionette, your emotions tugged by every word, glance, or cold shoulder, performing to earn their validation. Every comment, text, or silent treatment pulled your strings, making you dance for their approval. Here's the stark reality. The world doesn't value vulnerability it can exploit. It respects the quiet strength it can't decipher, and the boundaries it can't breach. This world is filled with those skilled at pressing buttons, playing games, and shaping outcomes, but they only succeed when your triggers are within their grasp. It's full of manipulators who thrive on pushing your limits, but they win only when you leave yourself open to their tactics. It's time to take back control. It's time to become unreadable, unpredictable, and untouchable, not out of spite, but for your own survival. This isn't about being harsh. It's about protecting your spirit. Becoming untouchable is about safeguarding your peace and thriving in a world that often demands too much. Chapter 3: The Strength of Becoming Unreachable. Listen closely because this is crucial. Becoming unreachable isn't about fleeing, it's a bold statement. It's not about running from others, but about returning to your own sanity, self-respect, and the energy you've poured into being everything for everyone. For too long, you were at everyone's beck and call, ready to offer comfort, support, or attention whenever someone asked. You were there, not because they earned your presence, but because you were taught that love means giving up pieces of yourself. They convinced you that kindness equals being endlessly available, and worst of all, that explaining yourself would bring you peace. They led you to believe that accessibility is compassion and that justifying your feelings would lead to understanding. But here's the hard truth: trying to clarify yourself to those determined to misunderstand you is like pouring your energy into a void. Explaining yourself to people who refuse to listen drains your spirit and feeds their control. Every time you justified your emotions, responded to a message against your instincts, or reacted just to keep the peace, you strengthened a system that thrives on your vulnerability. Each time you answered despite your gut's protests, you handed over more of your power to those who knew how to exploit it. They understood exactly which words to wield, which guilt trips to deploy, and which silences would prompt your reaction, because you showed them how. You gave them the keys to your emotions, and they've been using them ever since. But that version of you is gone. You've outgrown the need to be at everyone's disposal, and you're ready to reclaim your strength. Becoming unreachable isn't about being unkind, it's about taking charge. It's about mastering your emotions and choosing who gets access to your energy. You're not ignoring others out of cruelty. You're stepping back because you've learned your peace is too valuable to give away. You've realized that your tranquility is a treasure, not a resource for those who deplete it. You don't need to proclaim your silence, justify your distance, or explain your absence. Your energy is your responsibility, and your mental space is a sacred sanctuary, not open to all. You're not distant or cold. You're simply done letting your power slip away. By setting boundaries, you're protecting the strength that others have tried to siphon for too long. When you become unreachable, you become enigmatic, unpredictable, and powerful. You transform into someone who commands respect through presence, not performance. You take control of your life's rhythm, setting boundaries that need no explanation. Your silence speaks volumes, conveying more than any justification ever could. Here's a truth few share: those who are unreachable don't need to shout or prove themselves. Their quiet presence carries more weight than others' clamor, creating an impact that lingers. Stop giving away your access like it's free, and start treating your presence as a privilege. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And that's not pride, it's self-respect. When you become unreachable, you don't lose love, you shed the false idea that love demands your suffering. You let go of the myth that caring means sacrificing your well-being. You don't become isolated, you become aligned with your true self. By stepping back, you find clarity and connection with what truly matters. You don't become heartless. You become discerning with your heart. You learn to share your energy with those who value it, and that's where your true strength begins. Chapter 4: Silence as a Strategy. There's a reason the most commanding people in a room are often the quietest. Silence isn't a sign of weakness, it's strength held in reserve, a powerful choice that conveys confidence. Silence is authority under control, a presence that doesn't beg for attention. It's the calm assurance of someone who doesn't need to perform to be seen. It's not desperation, but confidence that doesn't require validation. Silence reflects a self-assuredness that stands firm without the need for constant affirmation. In a world obsessed with noise, where everyone clamors to be noticed, choosing silence makes you a mystery. In an era of constant chatter and attention-seeking, your quiet presence becomes intriguing and powerful. Silence carries an allure that draws people closer, sparking curiosity and wonder. It's a magnetic force that makes others lean in, eager to unravel the enigma you've become. When you stop sharing every detail, reacting to every prompt, or justifying your choices, you become a puzzle no one can solve. By holding back, you transform into someone unpredictable, and in the realm of influence, that unpredictability is your strength. Being predictable is a trap. It makes you easy to control, like an open book anyone can read. People who are always available, spilling their thoughts and emotions freely, become vulnerable to manipulation by those who know how to pull their strings. But that's not you anymore. From now on, you guard your inner world, choosing silence as your shield and letting your restraint speak volumes. You say less, yet your words carry more weight. Your presence in a room commands attention, not because you demand it, but because your calm stillness outshines the clamor around you. Here's a key truth: the less people know about you, the more they crave to understand. By keeping your thoughts private, you create a mystery that captivates and intrigues those around you. That's the essence of magnetism. It's built through restraint, not oversharing. Mystery grows when you hold back, letting your actions speak louder than explanations ever could. So stop broadcasting every step of your journey or updating those who don't deserve to witness your growth. Cease giving play-by-play accounts to people who haven't earned a place in your transformation. You don't owe anyone the details of your evolving story. Your life's unfolding chapters are yours to cherish, not a public script to be shared with all. Be rare, elusive, and selective with your presence. Become someone whose energy is a treasure, not a resource handed out freely. Stop trying to be predictable or giving away your spirit just to be noticed or appreciated. Don't scatter pieces of your soul in a bid for approval or visibility. The moment you embrace silence, people start paying attention. They wonder, they guess, and they realize they never truly knew you. When you go quiet, others begin to notice your absence, grappling with the mystery of who you've become. That shift isn't a sign of weakness, it's your leverage. Your silence becomes a powerful tool, giving you the upper hand in a world that thrives on noise. Chapter 5: Releasing to Reclaim Your Power. There comes a pivotal moment when clinging to the past hurts more than letting it go. Holding tightly to what once felt like connection now feels like a slow drain on your spirit, weighing you down. In that moment, you face a choice: remain tethered to your pain or break free to embrace your own liberation. You can either stay loyal to what hurts you or choose to step into a lighter, freer version of yourself. Let's be real, you're not truly afraid of losing people. You're scared of losing the part of yourself that relied on them. The fear isn't about their absence but about facing the quiet void that follows their departure. But here's what no one told you: that silence, that emptiness, isn't a punishment, it's a cleansing. That stillness is a chance to purify your spirit, freeing you from burdens that were never yours to carry. You're not losing connections, you're breaking out of emotional prisons you were never meant to inhabit. By letting go, you escape the cages built by relationships or roles that confined your true self. You've been clinging to love that exhausts you, jobs that stifle your spirit, friendships that feel like performances, and conversations where you defend yourself like you're on trial. You've held on to dynamics that demand you justify every word, draining your energy with every interaction. The tighter you hold, the more power they have over you, not because they're precious, but because your need for them gives them control. Your attachment becomes their leverage, keeping you bound to their influence. Letting go isn't a sign of defeat, it's a powerful act of reclaiming your space. Releasing what no longer serves you is how you take back your freedom and build a life that nourishes you. It's how you stop settling for scraps and start creating abundance for yourself. Letting go allows you to move from chasing crumbs to cultivating your own feast of fulfillment. It's how you shift from being emotionally reactive to spiritually unshakable. By releasing attachments, you become steady, grounded in a strength that no one can disrupt. The truth is stark. The more you hold on, the more you're controlled by guilt, fear, or the false belief that you'll crumble without them. Clinging tightly keeps you trapped in cycles of doubt, tethered to the idea that your world depends on their presence. But what if you're not falling apart? What if you're finally aligning with the version of yourself that doesn't apologize for having needs or shrink to make others comfortable? Letting go is how you reclaim the crown of your own mind. It's how you stop letting every message, silence, or conflict hijack your emotions. When you stop craving their approval, you step into your own authority. Breaking free from the need for validation allows you to walk confidently in your truth. Validation is a trap. It keeps you performing, seeking permission, and over-explaining your choices. The need for others' approval chains you to their expectations, making you dance for their nod. But when you release that need, you rise above. You stop trying to prove yourself and start living authentically, without filters or apologies. Those who can't handle your unfiltered truth? Let them walk away. You were never meant to fit into boxes crafted by those with narrow perspectives. Release what's fleeting to make space for what's eternal. Let go of temporary comforts to welcome lasting peace and purpose. Let go of the need to be understood to find alignment with your true self. Release the pressure to be liked, and step into the freedom of being wholly you. This is your rebirth, a moment to reclaim your power, not through conflict or pleading, but by choosing yourself. Letting go isn't just moving on, it's rising into the life you were always meant to live. Chapter 6. You can't save everyone. Let this truth settle in your heart. You can't rescue everyone, no matter how much you care. You can love someone deeply, pray for them, and offer every resource you have, but you can't save those who choose their own downfall. Some people aren't seeking healing, they're chasing attention. They don't want growth, they crave the spotlight of others' concern. Others don't want solutions, they seek sympathy. They're not looking for answers but for someone to validate their struggles without change. Some don't even want love, they want control. Their desire isn't connection but the power to keep you tethered to their needs. Trying to save them will only pull you under. Pouring your energy into their chaos risks drowning your own spirit in their storms. Your empathy is a gift, but it's not a life raft for those who keep sabotaging their own rescue. Your compassion is powerful, but it can't float someone who's determined to sink. You're not their savior or their missing piece. You're not responsible for fixing what they refuse to acknowledge is broken. There's a difference between supporting someone and carrying their burdens entirely. Helping is an act of love. Taking on their load is a loss of boundaries. There's a line between compassion and codependency. True care lifts others up, but entanglement traps you in their cycles. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is step back and let them face the consequences of their choices. Allowing them to stumble can be the most loving act, giving them space to confront their own reality. Let them fall, let them feel the weight of their decisions, and let them meet themselves in the quiet of their own chaos. Their growth begins when they face the truth of their actions, not when you shield them from it. Healing doesn't bloom in comfort, it takes root in the hard moments of hitting rock bottom. Transformation happens when someone's soul grows weary of its own turmoil and seeks change. You can't force that awakening or rush their journey. Their path to clarity isn't yours to pave, no matter how much you wish to help. You're not unkind for choosing your peace over their patterns. Prioritizing your well-being doesn't make you selfish, it makes you whole. Wish them well, release them with love, and turn your energy inward. Focus on nurturing your own spirit, because the only person you can truly save is yourself. Chapter 7. Releasing Burdens That Aren't Yours. Let's be honest, you've been carrying loads that were never meant for you. You've shouldered responsibilities that belong to others, bearing weights that sap your strength. You've been the listener, the problem solver, the healer, the one everyone turns to when life gets heavy. You've played the role of confidant, absorbing others' struggles while your own needs go unmet. You've been there for people who vanish the moment you need support. You've given endlessly to those who disappear when it's your turn to lean on someone. You've become a catch-all for others' insecurities, guilt, and chaos, taking it all in as if it's your job to clean up their messes. You've absorbed their emotional storms, believing it's your duty to calm their turbulence. But here's a truth that might hit hard: you can't save everyone, and it's not your role to try. You're not responsible for fixing lives that others refuse to mend themselves. Every time you put someone else's drama above your own peace, you dim your own light. Prioritizing their chaos over your tranquility chips away at your strength and spirit. Each time you bend your boundaries to shield someone from the fallout of their own decisions, you drain your own spirit. When you stretch yourself thin to rescue others from their choices, you sap the vital energy meant for your own growth. Your energy isn't limitless, and your mental well-being isn't a public resource for all to take. Your time, your heart, and your path to healing are precious treasures, not a communal pool for others to dip into freely. Not everyone deserves access to the depths of your inner world. Your thoughts, emotions, and vulnerabilities are sacred, reserved for those who honor your trust. You must be fiercely selective, not out of malice, but out of reverence for yourself. Choosing who gets close isn't cruelty, it's an act of self-respect, protecting your peace from those who would disrupt it. Every time you shrink to fit someone else's comfort, downplay your needs to avoid tension, or silence your truth to spare their feelings, you betray your higher self. When you dim your light to ease others' discomfort, you dishonor the part of you meant to grow, evolve, and soar. You can care for others without carrying their burdens. You can love from afar, offering compassion without taking on their pain as your own. You can wish them well while keeping their struggles out of your healing space. You can send positive thoughts without letting their wounds disrupt the sanctuary of your peace. Helping someone doesn't mean saving them. Offering support is different from trying to rescue those who refuse to help themselves. You can't pull someone to shore if they're determined to stay in the deep end. You can't force someone to swim when they cling to their struggles. You can't mend someone who gains from remaining broken. Some thrive in their chaos, and no amount of effort can change that. You can't lift someone who's hooked on their own turmoil. Those addicted to drama will resist your attempts to pull them toward clarity. The more you try to fix them, the more you fracture yourself. Pouring your energy into their chaos chips away at your own strength and peace. Stop exhausting yourself for those who wouldn't offer you a moment's care. Cease bleeding your energy for people who never think to bandage your wounds. Don't overextend for those who never reach back. Stop giving endlessly to people who take without ever reciprocating your effort. Quit rescuing others from lessons they need to face alone. Some growth only comes through the hard truths they must learn without your intervention. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Prioritizing your well-being is an act of strength, not a betrayal of others. Stepping back isn't wrong, it's wisdom. Creating distance allows you to protect your spirit while letting others find their own path. You're not cold for guarding your peace, you're courageous. Setting boundaries to preserve your tranquility is a bold declaration of your worth. Declare it boldly. You can't save others at the cost of yourself. Refusing to sacrifice your spirit for their salvation is a price you're no longer willing to pay. Chapter 8. The Power of Mystery and Calm. In a world that's always shouting for attention, where everyone craves to be noticed and validated, be the one who stays silent yet commands the space. In an era of constant noise and self-promotion, your quiet presence can shift the energy of any room. Mystery and calm aren't flaws, they're your greatest strengths. Your stillness and restraint are superpowers, setting you apart in a sea of clamor. These qualities are your silent weapons, guarding the inner kingdom of your mind. Your quiet confidence is a fortress, accessible only to those who've earned your trust. They've tried to convince you that silence is strange, that stillness means you're timid, or that being reserved is a weakness. Society often labels quietness as awkwardness, but it's far from a flaw, it's a mark of strength. The loudest person in the room is often the most insecure, constantly proving themselves through noise. Those who shout for attention or over-explain their worth are usually masking their own fragility. The one who's always performing, always justifying, always seeking approval, that person is exhausted and vulnerable. Their need to be seen makes them predictable and easily swayed. But the person who embraces the power of stillness, who doesn't need to speak to be noticed, is a rare force. Someone who radiates quiet confidence without chasing attention is unshakable and unique. Their presence alone demands respect, not because they demand it, but because their calm aura naturally draws focus. Their energy speaks louder than any words could. To cultivate true presence, stop giving everyone access to your time and energy. Cease being everywhere, always available, trying to prove your worth to those who don't see it. When you're too accessible, your value fades. Constant availability makes you predictable, and predictability erodes respect. But when you move quietly, guard your energy, and show up only when you choose, you become unforgettable. Selective presence makes your appearances carry weight, leaving a lasting impression. Mystery breeds magnetism. People are drawn to what they can't fully grasp. Your calm unpredictability captivates those who thrive on certainty and control. Your stillness unsettles those who live in chaos, challenging their expectations. When you don't react or chase approval, your quiet strength leaves them intrigued and off balance. Don't apologize for your silence, or feel pressured to fill the quiet with explanations. Embrace your rarity, letting your calm presence speak for itself. Become the person whose absence is felt as powerfully as their presence. Be someone whose energy lingers, even when you're not in the room. Be impossible to overlook, not through noise, but through the quiet power of your being. When you appear, every gaze shifts, every heart tunes in, and the room adjusts to your energy. That's true presence. That's real power. That's the essence of who you were always meant to be. Chapter 9. From Emotional Captive to Sovereign Soul. For too long, you've been reacting to everything, every slight, every pause, every change in tone, every late reply. You've lived on edge, hyper-aware of every word, gesture, or silence, letting them pull you into overthinking. You've tried to read between the lines, fix what wasn't yours to mend, and keep the peace at the expense of your own calm. You've taken on messes that didn't belong to you, sacrificing your tranquility to smooth things over. Now, when peace finally arrives, it feels unfamiliar, almost strange. You were conditioned to thrive in chaos, mistaking turmoil for connection and emotional captivity for love. But here's the turning point, the sacred moment when you stop explaining, justifying, or seeking permission to exist. When you release the need to prove yourself, you begin to shine with a new kind of light. You walk differently, speak differently, even breathe differently, not because you're above anyone, but because you've rediscovered your true self. You've reclaimed the essence of who you are, free from others' expectations. You're no longer a puppet to fleeting emotions or chasing those who can't meet their own needs. You've broken free from the cycle of seeking approval from those who don't value your worth. You've let go of the need to play the good guy at the cost of your peace. You're done performing roles that drain your spirit just to be seen as likable. Now you're sovereign, a person who rules their own mind and heart. You've become someone who sets boundaries and finds peace within, without needing others' validation. You don't just react to the world's noise, you set the tone. Instead of responding to chaos, you create calm, leading with intention and clarity. Some won't understand this shift. They'll call you distant, changed, or think you're acting superior. But what they're really sensing is their own unease reflected in your newfound strength. Your quiet power, which doesn't beg for attention, unsettles them. Confidence that doesn't need validation is the kind of strength they can't control, and that stirs their insecurity. Make no mistake, they'll feel the change in your energy. They'll notice the weight of your boundaries and the space between the old you and the person you've become. You're no longer open to chaos or bound by guilt. You've stopped apologizing for stepping into your highest self, embracing the strength that comes with it. You're not an emotional captive anymore, you're a sovereign soul. You're calm, clear, and centered, grounded in your own truth. You don't explain, chase, or plead. You observe, choose, and lead, moving through life with purpose and quiet authority. This is your truest self, not loud or performative, but steady, rooted, and unshakable. You've become the person you were always destined to be, standing firm in your power. Chapter 10. Embrace the new you. Let the world adapt to the transformed version of yourself, or let those who can't keep up fade away. Either way, you've decided never to retreat to who you once were, choosing forward motion over stagnation. This is the moment to reclaim your true essence. You're not here to pursue, plead, or prove your value to anyone. You exist to stand in your worth, not to beg for recognition or chase after validation. You're not a work in progress needing others' approval. You're the one who chooses who enters your world. You're the gatekeeper of your time and energy, not someone scrambling for acceptance. The world will try to convince you to compete, to lower your standards, or to fight for a place at tables that don't align with your purpose. Society may push you to prove yourself or shrink to fit spaces that were never meant for your growth. But that's not your path. You weren't born to chase fleeting approval. Your destiny is to select who and what deserves your presence, guided by your inner compass. Your time is sacred, your energy is valuable, and your presence is a treasure reserved for those who honor it. Your spirit is a gift, not something to be offered to those who fail to respect its worth. You don't owe anyone your story, your focus, or access to the core of who you are just because they show interest. Your inner world is a privilege, not a public space open to all who glance your way. Here's the stark truth: your attention is a precious resource, and you've been giving it away too freely. You've spent it on people who only reach out when they need something, on situations that drain you, and on conversations where you explain yourself endlessly just to be seen. Stop being an open book for anyone to skim through at will. You're a guarded journal, filled with pages of rare wisdom, meant only for those who've earned the privilege to read them. You are a locked vault, your thoughts and emotions protected, accessible only to those who prove their respect through consistency and authenticity. Only they deserve even a glimpse of your soul's depth. Cease pursuing those who can't see your value, shrinking to be understood, or proving your worth to those who can't even stand in their own. Stop chasing after people or situations that diminish your light, seeking scraps of acknowledgement. Instead, start choosing. Filter who gets your time and protect your energy like it's a royal treasure, because it is. Begin curating your circle, guarding your spirit as if it's a sacred palace, because it deserves that reverence. The version of you that chases is weary, drained, always grasping for fleeting attention. But the version that chooses is empowered, calm, and radiates a peace that comes from within. From now on, you don't pursue, you attract. You become so grounded, so rare, so aligned with your truth that only those worthy of your presence dare to approach. You are the prize, carry yourself with that certainty. Protect your energy like it's hallowed ground, because it's the foundation of your strength and growth. Chapter 11: The Strength of Conscious Rejection. Here's a tough reality most shy away from. Sometimes the most powerful choice is to walk away from what you once thought you couldn't live without. True strength lies in letting go of what you believed was essential, choosing your peace over familiarity. Real power isn't in clinging to what feels good, it's in saying no to what doesn't align with the person you're becoming. The courage to reject what no longer serves your growth is where transformation begins. There comes a point where desire alone isn't enough. Discipline takes over, guiding you to accept only what fuels your evolution. You begin to prioritize what nurtures your soul over what merely satisfies in the moment. That's where true growth happens, where men are forged in the fire of intentional choices. It's in the moment you choose your higher self over fleeting comforts that you step into your fullest potential. Consciously rejecting something or someone that once sparked joy isn't about apathy, it's about clarity. It's realizing that your peace and progress are worth more than temporary highs. You turn away, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've learned your growth is sacred and your self-worth isn't up for debate. Your higher self demands choices that honor your long-term vision over short-term gratification. Rejection isn't harshness, it's decisiveness in motion. It's your inner wisdom declaring, "This may feel nice now, but it doesn't serve where I'm headed." It's easy to say yes to what feels comfortable, to hold on to old connections or habits, even when they stifle your purpose. Clinging to familiarity is simple, but it often comes at the cost of your potential. What's hard is saying no to comfort, to history, to the emotional pull of what's familiar when it no longer fits your future. That choice requires courage, breaking free from patterns that keep you small. That's where your sovereignty is born, in the act of prioritizing yourself over what's easy. Saying no to what holds you back is how you claim your freedom and step into wisdom. Not every loss is a setback, and not everything you desire is worth pursuing. Some things you want may glitter but fail to align with the life you're building. When you say no with calm, grounded conviction, without guilt or over-explaining, you unlock true self-respect. That quiet authority in your choices builds a foundation of inner strength. If it disrupts your peace, clouds your purpose, or diminishes your worth, let it go. Walk away, close that chapter, even if your heart hesitates, because growth often lies beyond what's comfortable. Real power isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering what you allow into your life. True strength comes from curating your world with intention, choosing only what elevates you. You don't need everything that shines, you need what resonates with your higher self. Sometimes the path to your next level opens only after you firmly shut the door on what's behind you. Chapter 12: Self-Control, Not Suppression. Don't mistake silence for fear or calm for cowardice, and never let the world convince you that your self-control is weakness. Your quiet strength isn't born of timidity, it's a deliberate choice to rise above the fray. You're not silent out of apprehension, you've simply outgrown the need for noise. Your stillness reflects a mastery of self, not a retreat from the world. You don't avoid conflict because you're afraid to stand your ground. You've learned that not every fight deserves your energy. You choose your battles wisely, preserving your strength for what truly matters. There's a vast difference between suppression and self-control. Suppression is rooted in fear, swallowing your truth to avoid rejection or discomfort, bottling up your voice out of anxiety. Suppression is when you hold back because you're scared of the consequences, not because you've chosen to. It's a reaction to external pressure, not a reflection of inner strength. But self-control is a conscious act of power. It's when you could lash out, could match their chaos, but you choose not to, not because you can't, but because your strength doesn't need to prove itself. Self-control is the rarest form of authority, quiet, unseen, yet it shifts the energy of any space you enter. It's an invisible force that commands respect without demanding attention. When you master yourself, you no longer need to dominate others. Your power lies in your ability to govern your own emotions, not in controlling those around you. You're no longer swayed by petty drama or emotional games. You've risen above triggers, choosing calm over chaos with intention. You don't need to justify your silence. Your stillness speaks for itself. Your quiet presence is its own explanation, radiating confidence without words. You've stopped battling the world and turned your focus to the one fight that matters, mastering your mind. That inner discipline is where true freedom and strength are born. The undisciplined react impulsively, blaming others for their unrest. The sovereign soul builds, channels, and rises, turning challenges into opportunities for growth. Let others underestimate your silence, mistaking it for surrender. When the moment calls, you'll move with precision and purpose, executing your plans without fanfare. Chapter 13: The Art of Active Patience. Patience isn't passivity, it's strategic calculation. While the impulsive react, the wise observe, waiting for the right moment to act with clarity and impact. The immature leap without thought, driven by ego. The master watches, assesses, and moves only when the time is right, ensuring every step is purposeful. This is where emotional intelligence thrives, in the ability to pause and plan. True strength lies in holding back until the moment aligns with your intentions. Your ego may urge you to react, to prove yourself in the heat of the moment. Let that urge burn out, and in its silence, you'll discover a deeper power guiding your choices. The liberation of unreachability. There's a freedom few speak of, a liberation that doesn't come from wealth, fame, or applause. It flows from one profound choice, to become unreachable, not out of arrogance, but from a place of clarity and peace. This unreachability isn't rooted in pride or resentment, it's born of self-respect. It's a deliberate act of guarding your energy and prioritizing your well-being. Something transformative happens when you stop answering every demand, reacting to every trigger, or giving access to those who only take. When you set boundaries, you reclaim your power and protect your spirit. Your energy stops pleading, stops performing, stops seeking validation from those who can't see your worth. You no longer exhaust yourself chasing approval from people who don't recognize your value. This shift changes everything. You attract instead of pursue, observe instead of react. You find peace, not because life is flawless, but because you've let go of addiction to chaos. Those who thrive on drama fall away. They can't feed on your energy anymore. They lose their hold, unable to guilt you into shrinking or trigger you as they once did. Your self-awareness becomes a shield, protecting your nervous system from manipulation. The games of others no longer work, because you've disconnected from their chaos. The manipulators lose their grip, their tactics ineffective against your clarity. You've stepped out of their cycles, no longer available for their emotional ploys. The genuine souls step forward, drawn to the depth your presence now demands. Your time requires intention, your love requires maturity, and only those ready to meet you there can stay. You're not for everyone anymore, and that's your strength. Your selective presence is a superpower, filtering out what doesn't align with your purpose. You've risen, calm, centered, unbothered, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've started caring about what truly matters. Your focus has shifted to what nurtures your soul and fuels your growth. You no longer connect through your wounds, you connect through your wisdom. Your interactions are rooted in clarity, not pain, building bonds that uplift rather than drain. You don't speak from hurt, you speak from power. Your words carry the weight of someone who's healed, learned, and chosen to rise above. You don't chase, you lead. Your life is now a path others follow, guided by the quiet strength of your example. This is your truest form, not louder or larger, but clearer, steadier, and more magnetic. You've become a beacon of focus and purpose, drawing only what resonates with your truth. The goal was never to be loved by all. It was to align so deeply with yourself that only what's meant for you can reach you. Everything else falls away, unable to match the frequency of your spirit. Welcome to the liberation of unreachability. You've earned this freedom. It's the reward of choosing yourself, protecting your peace, and living in alignment with your highest calling. Closing declaration. If this message sparked a quiet fire within you, a realization that you've been too open, too available, too exposed, then this is your moment to rise. Let this truth ignite a resolve to guard your energy and honor your worth. Claim your power by choosing to be unreachable to those who haven't earned your presence. Declare to yourself and the world that your energy is sacred, your time is earned, and your peace is untouchable. The world doesn't need more who bend to please, it needs those who stand firm, who choose with intention and build with purpose. It calls for souls who move with quiet strategy and unshakable strength. This is the start of a movement, a call to protect your peace, lead with clarity, and live with dominance, not just existence. You don't react to the world, you shape it, forging a path for others to follow. Step into this new chapter with resolve, knowing you're part of a brotherhood of the self-mastered, those who don't chase, but choose, who don't beg, but build, who don't merely survive, but thrive.